The Wrestling Mayhem Show. Since 2006, the pioneer in pro wrestling podcasting.
This show is brought to you by IndyWrestling.us and IndyWrestling.network for your independent wrestling entertainment. Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza.
Just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Don't give up what you want, take it back. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Do what you got to do, make it.
It is the Wrestling Mayhem Show, episode 918, Tuesdays. We've been talking about professionalized wrestling. I am Mike Sorg at Sorgatron on the social medias in the Sorgatron Media Studios in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And we got a fun one for you tonight. First of all, we got a crew and a guest. We had a little bit of a change in our guest tonight, but that's okay. We still have an international flavor. I'll get to that in one moment. But in the meantime, let's get to the rest of the regular crew. First of all, back in here after I had to let the guys have a week off because we had the entire Troublemakers in the studio, and I don't think there was going to be enough room edgewise between Glenn Spector and his whole crew here. But back with us is from RizzPlayzGames, the Rizz.
Sorg, we didn't plan this.
What?
You and I.
Oh, yeah. We're twinsies. If you're on audio,
twins.
We are both wearing an Enjoy Chocomania shirt today for some
No
reason.
idea how.
We're both Taco Tuesday, baby. As you
We're
do.
synced together.
As you do, you know? So, I mean, you know, Rizz and I are like on the vibe. You know, the vibe. What are you looking at me like that?
I don't understand what you're talking about.
You know, the vibe. We're on the same page. I don't know what do you think I mean? Also,
I don't know, Sorg.
Also with us representing.
I'm confused. Okay.
Well, that's your usual state.
Yeah.
Also representing the iPhoneography podcast contributor with the Awesome Cast as well, Dave Potter is back with us, fresh off of running the America's Mile this past weekend.
America's Mile.
Well, there you go. Got that salute. Got that salute. You know, I literally did this show. Maybe we'll talk about the show I did last night with Combat One. But they're setting up for this show and they're putting up all these flags in the entrance, and I'm like, why are we going so America? And I'm like, oh right, it's still July. I forgot 4th of July is an entire month sometimes. But you know, hey, like Halloween. You know, if you're in October, it's a Halloween show. It doesn't matter if it's the first, right?
Whoa.
What?
I have to interject. I have to interject real quick. What do you mean October? Down my local Giant Eagle, the Halloween candy is out and on sale.
There's already Spirit Halloween stores popping up.
The pumpkin spice Cheerios are on sale now.
Mm-hmm.
We are
Wait, is pumpkin
July.
spice theory? Oh, what? Oh man, I need to get back into pumpkin spice. I gotta get back to my basic white girl state. Also with us, that all aside, we have a guest with us that probably is wondering what the hell we're talking about with our American holidays. Our friend with us is Brandon Lee is joining us, known from NWA Exodus Pro. We've seen him in the Renegade Wrestling Alliance, and I think he's been in a bunch of places. I think he's been with our friends down in Rise Wrestling, if I'm not mistaken. I think I saw that on your social media feed. Also known as the, do I have this right? Is it the Technical Assassin, they call you?
Indeed, it is the Technical Assassin. How are we all doing this evening, guys? We good?
We're good. We're good. Thank you so much for joining us. And we're gonna learn. Listen, we're gonna get cultural with you tonight. You're gonna teach about British wrestling. We're gonna find out where you came from. We're gonna find out why the hell you're in Cleveland and all that kind of stuff, and what's going on with Exodus Pro and stuff. I know we've mentioned a few times on the show. I've been having a great time on the production with that crew up there in Cleveland. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So, and let's get into it. What's going on in the wrestling world before we dig in deep with our guest here. And please chime in if you have any thoughts on things. Well, first of all, I think we got it in the corner. Dom's in the doghouse, fella. Oh, Sheamus making his mark. I love that something happens, especially with this Dominic Mysterio angle, and like everybody else jumps on it, whether they're part of it or not. Like between social, I like the superb thing is happening with wrestling social media where everybody, Nyla Rose is really good with this in AEW too. And just like that side commentary on everything. Right. So, and I don't know if you guys shared it. I think it might've been in the Mayhem Show group chat that they are shot for shot doing the Eddie Guerrero China angle last night.
You know, Dom's dad. Yeah,
Dom's dad. I want a side-by-side of that promo because a lot of that sounded familiar when they were in the ring.
I thought I saw it.
Yeah. To the
but,
roses.
But when you were saying how everyone's involved, let's not forget Jey Uso. After seeing the breakup between Mommy and Dom, he's a little interested, and he's asking Mommy out and see if she wants to go to Waffle House. You know, she never been to Waffle House. It's cheap, but it's good food, he says.
Yeah, I don't think they have Waffle House in Australia. But
I think that was the first reference of Waffle House since Sammy brought it up and cracked Jay or Jimmy.
There's a whole Waffle House sub story between those two that we're gonna find out someday in a documentary. The Waffle House. I was actually telling Dutters about this, and she just signed up. She just signed up for Plurk, a social media from 2008 on AwesomeCast today, and that was her post looking for somebody to take me to Waffle House. So, no, there was a lot. And again, I'm trying to squeeze it in because I did a Monday show. Their storytelling going into this has been superb. The entire night is about this. I don't know who, and we still don't know why Carlito's still there in the clubhouse. Other than he's playing video games.
Is he part of Judgment Day now?
Nobody has answered the question. They asked the question and then something else happens.
Mm-hmm.
So
with this weird AJ Styles-esque shirt that's all dripping liquid.
Oh no! Oh, he does have something like that, doesn't he? Yeah, it has to be like an Apple.
Yeah, he does have the AJ. Yeah. What?
What?
No, it says Carlito in like white drippy font.
Okay, I gotta look up this. I gotta look this up and see what this shirt actually looks like.
I'm telling you, it's very AJ Styles like.
Oh man.
Like the AJ Styles. I forget what they actually call that now.
Okay, I see what it is now. Well, I don't know what the this is like an Affliction shirt. That's not terrible. I don't understand what it has to do with Carlito.
No, it's almost like a. Well, I mean,
it's a Puerto Rican flag.
Puerto Rican flag.
Yeah,
the
okay.
Puerto Rican flag with the apple, there.
But it's very
like spray paint.
The problem is you never see the full thing because of the shots they're doing backstage.
Yes,
so,
exactly.
You're just like.
Well, also Carlito's taller than mostly everyone else.
Yes,
too.
he is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, outside of Damien, Damien's also very tall. But
by the way, that shirt is going. There is only medium and 3XL and up of that shirt if you want one. By the way, so we could put like 3 Rizzes in one of those.
I have a didn't I win a 3X Mojo Rawley shirt at one time?
You did. Do you still have that?
No.
Oh no.
Why would I have a 3X Mojo Rawley shirt?
Well, why would you get rid of it if you were given one?
I mean, don't you want to stay hyped?
No.
I mean, it's like all hype. It's all hype.
In this economy, no.
Not in this. Oh, fantastic. Anyways, what else from last night? The Wyatt 6. There's more happening there.
Oh, thank goodness Thank goodness I watched the entire week of the Pat McAfee show when they were in Indianapolis, and then had 2 full weeks of nothing, and then randomly just appeared on one night of. I was just watching it in the background when I worked, and all of a sudden I hear like the white noise, and I'm like, oh no, they're doing it again. And then they finally did something with like the videotape.
No. Are you watching the Pat McAfee show because you like to watch the Pat McAfee show in general, or just because you're looking for the Wyatt 6 stuff to pop up?
Yeah, it's the latter.
You're the sports guy. You're a sports ball guy.
I'm the sports guy, and Pat is from Pittsburgh, so it's more, and it like this season has been mostly pretty damn good for Pittsburgh sports with Skeens and stuff like that. But
what?
Yeah, baseball.
Oh, okay.
But like it's just like I do this for you.
So you can report back.
Show.
You can report back, yes.
So nobody can watch this show.
How many hours a day is the Pat McAfee show?
I think it's an hour on ESPN. I want to say it's 2 hours on social. So like 1 hour, 1 hour is just talking like on an actual talk show, and then the other hour is full fucking podcast. It's just fuck, shit, fuck.
Wait. They hold off all the swears and then just like let it loose for the podcast.
Yeah,
that's what we do if we were on TV. No, good stuff there. Okay, the Wyatts happened. We got Rowan's video.
Video was amazing.
Yeah.
That was so top quality, and this is where you could put real life into wrestling and not have to. I don't want to say lie. You don't have to, blow it out of proportion. It's what happened to him.
And we're talking about he talked about like kind of his feelings around when Brody Lee died, and then followed up by, of course, Bray Wyatt. So which really I think plays into like most, like obviously Bo was about what was happening around that too when they did his videos, interview videos, and of course parlaying into, and this is the answer, is this what's happening to Wyatt 6 stuff. Like I love that kind of I mean that's his best stuff when you intermingle like real life with wrestling and something, and some real, like damn real heartbreak too, that a lot of people felt.
There was a point in there, and I kind of felt bad for it when Rowan started talking about he fell down a well, and I'm just sitting there going, "That'll be fun." Like that'll be fun to look. Like that'll be fun to like. I was imagining him actually going into the well for some unknown reason.
That's actually a common.
And then
go ahead.
And I was like, that's interesting, and like just chuckling to myself for something that is very fucking serious.
Oh, it's very fucking serious. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, that's a reference. We actually just did an episode of our Fishing Without Bait podcast, the mindfulness podcast that we do here, about Juice WRLD's Wishing Well. And you know, we're talking about falling into the well, you know, and all that kind of stuff with addiction and stuff too. So it's kind of a common thing, especially with depression, actually. So he was kind of hitting a lot, and probably actually went through that around that, because that you know, probably hit him really, really hard too. His friends went like that. So
I was almost waiting for him to say about, because it sounded like he was talking about not wanting to be around anymore. And to mention like a suicide attempt somehow.
He was definitely alluding to it.
They had that line of who they had, like the one that actually like got me a little bit was the "who's gonna miss me? I'm just Rowan." That was like, cool. Like, and like it's sad, but it's like he is one of the 3 members, and he's the 3rd member that somebody would choose. Like it's like we have Bray, we have Brody, and then Rowan.
Yeah.
But yeah, that got me a lot.
Yeah, I mean, and that's where it's going to hit really, really well with that story when they get into it. And I love what they're doing with that. I that second half of Raw I didn't have time to finish, so I just hit YouTube clips. Did I see that the Creed brothers are now teaming with Chad Gable?
Yep.
That fits. I'm not. I don't hate that.
In suits.
Okay.
They're all 3 in suits. They did not come out in wrestling gear. They came out in decent wrestling suits. You know, I mean, it's not like $5,000 suits, but they were dressed nice in suits.
That's the extra.
All 3 of them.
That's the extra show up in your good clothes to the WWE taping suits. Yeah. So,
but yeah, it was nice to see that, and you know, Chad having this serious but not comedic serious. You know, it's kind of sad that Otis got dropped for the 2nd time in his career, kind of. You know, because it was, he's treating Otis so bad, he slapped Otis in the ring, and Otis is going to give him his comeuppance, and probably not going to happen. And remember, it was 2020 when Otis won Money in the Bank and lost it to The Miz in a courtroom.
I'm still not over that.
COVID was fucking weird, guys.
Yeah.
Like I'm still not over that giant Money in the Bank match where Corbin threw 2 people off of the roof of the whatever that Titan Towers.
Titan Towers, yeah.
And then Otis wins. And they didn't do jack about it.
Nope.
Like, and I still go back to it. It was supposed to be for the World Championship, but Otis wanted it for the tag titles. He wanted it for the tag titles. But then, I believe 2 years later, Austin Theory wins, goes after the United States Championship. Makes no sense.
With you on that.
Sorry, I got a little rant there.
Yes, you seem so angry.
I want Otis as world champion. Okay.
Well, we'll be talking about it a bit more. There's a lot happening here. We're going to talk to catch up with our guests here. And Brandon, have you been catching any of this WWE on the social media clips or anything like that? I know you're training hard here, and not necessarily catching all the shows.
Well, I've been watching some of the clips online, definitely, and like on the road back when you're in the car for about 3 hours, 4 hours at a time.
Yep.
My favorite thing that they're doing at the moment is it feels like all the characters that they have are like spinning plates with each other.
Mhm.
Like with Carlito and the Judgment Day, he's there, he's their friends. Like even though they're heels, villains, they don't hate each other for no reason. They like coexist.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many different like sub storylines within a big storyline. There's so many plates spinning for everyone. It just makes everything so cohesive and watchable. You can pick up on so many minute things.
You know what we haven't gotten in a while? I don't know if you've noticed this. Because you remember, like, for the longest time, I feel like we get, like, you know, Kofi Kingston versus The Miz for, like, 3 weeks in a row for no real reason, right? I don't think that happens much anymore, right? Or if you do, like, Ilya Dragunov coming back around on the IC title, you know, thing last night. I want to watch that match, actually. They have the full match up on YouTube. Like, it's got a purpose to it. It's not doing it just because. Like, I don't feel like when they say, like, hey, we're going back to the Attitude Era, I remember, like, people talking about, like, hey, everybody on that show had a reason to be on that show. You're not just throwing a bunch of matches out there. And I feel like we're really kind of getting to that. Like, maybe Raw is maybe the exception because they have so much time to fill, but, like, how many times are you just like, oh, this match is just existing for TV, right? Like, it doesn't seem to happen.
Like something is going to happen in each match and segment which will lead to something or progress something. It's not just there.
Yeah.
There's a reason to watch.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Yeah. I don't know I don't know how sustainable in length that's going to be. So
well, I would say there's a good chance because of the new administration in WWE, where it's not Vince does everything.
Yes.
Vince only cares about the top 2 or 3 matches, and everyone else does whatever. Well, I don't care.
That's true. I mean, I think that's the thing, because if it's, you know, if everything needed to funnel through one person and their attention goes over here for whatever reason, you know, for good or ill, yeah, that your thing now is less important. You know, like, I mean, think about these PLEs are so focused with 4 or 5 matches, you know, and that's it. And they're given time, and we don't have to worry about killing a women's match because, you know, whatever. And you know, except for John Cena, because he kills everybody's time. I understand. So was the joke going around that last Money in the Bank. But no, I think it's very cool and a very tight show, and it's great to see. So, anyways, we're going to talk more about, we're going to check out what's going on. AEW's got a big show, AEW 250, Dynamite 250 happening, and they got a big match I want to talk about, and then we're going to get to our guest here more in depth for the episode. But in the meantime, I want to give a shout out to our friends that are supporting the show on Patreon, patreon.com/Wrestling Mayhem Show. Some of you may be watching us via Patreon. We actually go live a little bit before we go live for everybody else, so you get a little bit of the side conversation as preparing for the show, and you can stay tuned and listen to the Patreon recording live and whatever we might get into there. We at least have one contraband member of the Wrestling Mayhem Show that joins us. Take that how you will. Thank you, everybody that does support the show over there on the fan of the show level. Bo Diggity! Woo! Woo! As well as Team Hammerfist, the Tupac family, as well as Megan Nelson, Bubba Brewer from APWF, and the Triple B Experience, a podcast, and the newest Patreon supporter, Jason French. Thank you for joining us on the Patreon. Also at the Poppy Club level, Dave Profod Potter, spouse of Roos Jewelry Affair at roosjewelryaffair.com. Yeah. Rats in a Trench Coat, Tony Kincaid. Pizza Club level, The Rizz. And at the manager level, Bradley. You guys can support the show too, and I can say your name funny at patreon.com/Wrestling Mayhem Show. Yeah, I think we posted.
You're getting better at that.
At what?
You're getting way better at that.
Getting better at that? Okay.
Not stumbling over the read. Yeah.
Okay. We put an hour of the Troublemakers on Patreon. I don't even know what we got into. So
how does he get an hour every time he's on the show?
Have you talked to Glenn Spector?
No, because he doesn't stop talking.
Oh, I guess really he's kind of talking at you, isn't it? So yeah. Okay. Well,
I mean, Glenn, I love you, man. That's just, but yeah,
he's great. He's great. What was it? What is it? Glenn Spector's the best wrestler. Just ask him. So, Brandon, I know Glenn Spector's been on a couple shows. You've been up there in Cleveland. I don't know if you've had any Glenn Spector experiences with the Troublemakers or anything.
I've met Glenn Spector a few times now. I've been out for a few drinks with him. He is a man. He's a gentleman. I'll give you that. He's a nice guy. But yeah.
Oh, he's saying that like, oh, he's a nice guy. We know what that means.
I do like him.
Excellent. Anyways, let's touch base real quick. AEW's got the big 250. We have a champion versus champion match. I don't think both titles are on the line, right? I think it's just an exhibition. Is it an exhibition? This is a non-title exhibition, champion versus champion situation. We're not gonna kludge it up like that. So let me pull it up here.
Yeah, well, on their Twitter, it just says champ versus champ, Swerve versus Okada.
Yeah, it's actually Swerve versus Okada. We thought it was Ospreay.
That's okay.
Ospreay will actually be MJF.
Oh, that's right.
Confusing. Okay.
For the international championship.
That seems wild because I feel like, or maybe this will schmoz out and we'll get it at Wembley or something, right? Because I feel like this.
Especially with MJF just turning back heel.
Mm-hmm. That's gonna be crazy. No, and really, and I've been noticing this. Like, obviously we're doing some strange tapings and things like that. But man, Dynamite has been like Collision has just turned into this like B- show lately. If anybody's noticed, you do have interesting things happening there. Like, Orange Cassidy is apparently going dark OJ, hitting Trent with a giant monkey wrench.
Try that phrase again, Sorg.
What was it? Dark orange? What are they calling it?
Probably like a burnt orange. Maybe?
Burnt orange?
Orange, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we don't want to go. We don't want to just go OJ.
As long as Orange does not wear a glove, we're fine.
I wasn't going there. Somebody said Dark Orange Cassidy, I swear, on Twitter or something. I was just trying to.
It wouldn't drop me as Twitter. You said OJ though.
That's it. OC OJ. I don't know.
It's okay, Sorg.
First of all, Americans of a certain age would get it. If you're younger, you won't get it. If you're not in this country, you probably won't get it. And you don't want to, exactly. You don't want to.
They'll get it. They'll get it.
Blood orange. Blood orange is the term.
Blood orange.
Thank you, Tina from Seattle. Yes. Blood orange.
Tina fixing things. Yes.
Thank you.
As always.
Jeez.
But yeah, like we have that. We have.
I mean, tomorrow's basically a pay-per-view.
Yes. We do have Blood and Guts here the next week, which makes up for no pay-per-view this month, I suppose.
That's fine.
So that'll be interesting.
And Mercedes Moné versus Nyla.
And we have a Ring of Honor
for the title.
And we have a Ring of Honor pay-per-view, I guess, is on Honor Club like next Friday, too. As part of their residency they're doing down in Arlington, Texas, which I'm really interested to see how that goes. I don't know if this is kind of an experiment, a cost-saving measure, or what. I don't know if it's going to feel as big, but considering Collision has felt very kind of definitely pre-taped the last few weeks. They are doing. I am always astonished lately the scheduling acrobatics that AEW appears to do. I never know what town they're in when I watch a Ring of Honor from 3 weeks, and sometimes it's 2 towns. Sometimes I remember watching, and I'm not caught up in the last like month and a half, and I'm trying to before the show next week. But you'll watch a show, and it's one of those where like some towns like the entrance ramp has to go the other way for some reason. They haven't done it for a while, but I remember they used to. Like you would watch a show, and you would watch the entrance ramp swap sides. While you're watching the show, it was just like, wait a minute, what's happening here? But anyways,
did we talk about the finals yet?
The finals of the Owen Hart tournament? No, because that was just last week. Yeah, that was last Wednesday. So, what did you think of that? That was some good shit, right?
Like
What happened for those that don't watch AEW regularly?
I'm sorry. I'm going to apologize.
Okay.
Because I have not been fair to AEW as much.
Wow.
The Mariah May, Tony Storm lead up told a damn story. And I'm sorry. Like, I know I'm not really big into like, I'm not a big blood person unless it mattered. That fucking mattered.
Yeah.
Like and for those who don't know, probably already know. It's been almost a week.
Yes.
Mariah May attacked Tony Storm, busted her open with the very heavy belt. By the way, like the belt had like those little knuckles on it at the end of it, the little buckles that were metal. Like you heard it, and like the shoe, like bringing back the shoe, like how like that was. And again, I'm not big on blood, and it was a little bit squeamish when I first saw it, but it did tell that story, and it was more of a movie like that I really wanted to see from an AEW, because that's what, like, that told that story. Like, that turn told that story.
So Tina's pointing out that this beat for beat is the story of an old film all about Eve that I'm finding on the Criterion Collection site here.
Yes.
That's tremendous.
Which, given that, you know, I think I heard it on here that R is the one kind of working with Tony. That a classic Hollywood movie that RJ City's involved with. Shocking. I mean, it was perfect. And for those of us who are somewhat critical of AEW, when we say that, yes, you can put on great matches, but you need to care about the matches. This is what we're talking about. Because, you know, when Mariah faces Tony, it's going to be a great match. But there is emotion and story behind it. And, you know, not just we're having 13 shows on this card and it's going to be a great match. Great. I like good wrestling. Why should I watch it? Why should I take? Oh, this is a story. This is a reason to watch it. You know, and it, like I said, the fact that every John Moxley match he bleeds, or it may be 95% of his matches he bleeds. It takes it's kind of like swearing. If all you do is swear, it takes the impact out. But if you're someone who doesn't swear and you drop an F-bomb or you say something, people go, huh?
Like when Okada dropped the first bitch, like that was huge because we're like, oh, he can swear.
It's a fun ongoing gag though. Like, it turns out Okada's a funny guy.
Yeah.
You never saw that much when he was doing New Japan, and he was like, as I know Matt Collins called the John Cena of New Japan, but it was great. Brandon, I want to make sure we get your opinion. Have you seen what's going on with Tony Storm and anything like that?
I've seen roughly what's going on with Tony Storm.
Yeah,
but I'm upset what's happening with Okada. Really, I feel like he's lost all of his like mystique that he had in New Japan of being the Japanese John Cena, and he's just coming in and doing gags with the Young Bucks. I feel like he could do a lot more than that, but they also have such a deep roster of great talent that where can they just slide him in without taking someone out?
Well, it might be like maybe this is the first glimpse of that here tomorrow when we're doing this champion versus champion match, right? So
potentially,
yeah, and hopefully they do something significant with him when we go to Wembley. I'd love to see him get a good. I mean, I'm
very curious what they're going to be doing with Ospreay, because I feel like the money is in Ospreay being the champ, because he's the most over person at the moment. I think that's where the money is, because WWE's never had him. They for sure wanted him. Why wouldn't they want him? That's where the money is, in my opinion, is just putting on an Ospreay and strapping a rocket ship to him. MJF doesn't need the belt.
No, absolutely not.
He draws with. He can just be himself and draw. It doesn't. He doesn't need a championship on him at all.
He could just be a menace, and that's all right. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I kind of think that's what they're going to do a little bit, because I feel like at Wembley, Swerve's dropping it to Brian, and then it's probably going to set up Ospreay versus Brian Danielson.
Oh, I'm in.
Yeah, like I'm for that. Like,
yeah,
that might be it. We had Ospreay Swerve, which was tremendous. Well, Brandon, how are you feeling about Swerve's kind of title run here? I mean, it's been a star-making run, in my opinion, for him.
It really has. I just kind of feel sorry for him because he was so hot, and then Ospreay's kind of come along, and people have just gone shift. That's how I feel a little bit. He's still over. They still love him, but they don't love him as much as they love Ospreay, in my opinion. Maybe it's just because I'm British and I'm biased.
We'll let you have that one. Then. All right. Well, I want to make...
before we go on, we have to talk about the most important segment tomorrow night on this incredibly stacked card. This pay-per-view quality card that they barely don't have time to have everything on.
Oh, I hate your setups.
It's time to sit under the learning tree with Chris Jericho.
Listen.
Because we couldn't have a wait a minute. I'm hold on. I feel the presence. We couldn't have a second women's match. We had to have Chris Jericho that no one cares about.
Well, I mean, we do have Mercedes and Nyla Rose happening there. So, but
one.
They've been actually. I thought they've been pretty good with women's matches lately.
They have been. But you could,
and you don't know.
On a
maybe Sky Blue's got a thing going on.
You could maybe have a second.
We'll see. Well, we'll see. That's yet to be determined tomorrow, David.
Oh,
David.
No,
David Q. Podner. Damn it! I had.
And by the way, I hate to say it, I'm excited. Nyla's on TV.
Oh, absolutely, and against Mercedes. I don't think that's a match that's happened.
The best woman talker on possibly on either AEW or WWE. The best out there, the one who's best at social media. And she's on TV, and it's like
she called Little Rock small Dwayne Johnson today.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, Nyla should be doing so much more. That's for sure. But I had something. I will combat. I think we're going to come back around on the learning tree at some point here on how smart it is.
I like it.
Thank you. No, wait. Okay, I got a wrestler to talk to about this. This is where I think this is important. Because is he not, in your experience, channeling people you have met in the industry?
Yes.
That's what it is.
And but I'm not sure if I like it because I wrestle. I'm not sure if it translates to the average fan.
Yes.
But I would rather him do this than watch him wrestle.
Okay, that's fine. I will agree with that. But he's also the FTW champion.
Yes. Oh, come on. Wait. Him with Ring of Honor, and he was the Ocho. Wasn't that? I love that when he was the Wizard for some reason. Like that was good.
That was 2 years ago, wasn't it?
No comment.
No comment? No?
No comment.
No, you didn't dig that? All right.
That was also 2 years ago when Tony was trying to get a TV deal for Ring of Honor.
Sure.
And he could at least post, hey, our champion is
Chris Jericho.
Is Chris Jericho. At least you know him. He's been on non-wrestling. He's been wrestling for 20 years. And it isn't this guy that, if you're not a Ring of Honor fan, you never heard of anyway.
Well, one note for that, I want to mention Ring of Honor real quick because I was actually kind of looking over some articles and some changes that look like coming up around those Arlington, which again, Ring of Honor is having their what is it? Is it Super Card? No, it's not Super. I forget what show they're having. Death Before Dishonor, maybe. So they're having their main show that's going to be on Honor Club. And then, of course, Collision is going to be there. One thing that was mentioned in this, according to Wrestling Inc., is Ring of Honor is going to get some dedicated TV taping time. And, of course, the Maximum Male Models, or whatever they're called these days, MXM, I think it is, fresh off of their Uganda tour, apparently, have been signed on, and have been popping up in the last couple episodes of Ring of Honor. So it sounds like they're going to get a little more... The speculation is it sounds like they're going to get a little more focus on that show. So maybe that is going to turn. And I have said this. I think I said this in the car a couple times last night talking about this. I feel like I should record I feel like card conversations you record because they're basically a podcast. Yes, especially at like 3 a.m. when you're in the middle of the road. But no. So I will position. My position is. You can tell me that AEW is going up, down, or the other way, but the bellwethers that I'm looking for how AEW is actually doing, because the perception has to be like on. I think it's what do they do in Wembley? What does that look like compared to last year? And what happens when their TV deal comes up? Right? That's where I think we truly know whether the people that matter to their success, other than the fans, think that they're successful, right? Will they be rewarded for that? Because they've been providing 5 years of television for Warner Discovery, AT&T, whatever the hell company they've been. I think they've been through like 2 mergers, haven't they, over their lifespan? And does something happen with Ring of Honor? Does something happen with the streaming deal? I'm really curious about that. So we'll see what happens.
I think if it was any other TV show, we wouldn't be saying that like it's not doing well and a failure. It's because the only thing we have to compare it to currently is the biggest wrestling company there's ever been. So it's not failing, but it's just because that's the only part of comparison we have is WWE.
Yeah, and the like people keep looking at ratings and like ratings
Ratings
wavering. Ratings are going to waver. And I love every week where I say maybe the ratings don't matter as much because they got social media and everything else, and then Tony Khan comes out and says the ratings is the most important thing, and I was like, thanks, Tony. But also, like, Tony can't say anything else because Tony's in the middle of a TV deal negotiation. If Tony went out publicly and said ratings don't matter, how do you think TBS feels? You know what I mean? Think about this politically, guys. I
mean, in 5 months, he's going to have at least one of the top wrestling shows on television. Period.
He will have because that's a dwindling thing. Isn't that going to be interesting? Isn't that going to be interesting?
That's true. Yeah,
Raw's leaving. Yeah. SmackDown and NXT are moving to different network, like doing a network swap. So that's your top 2 television programs. And you can say, hey, it's all competition for everything. What's going to happen from there? AEW is going to be there with two or three programs on this new deal. You got TNA Wrestling is talking about, looking for a new home with more a bigger install base because not everybody gets access, right? And they're obviously warming up the things. NXT is making positions and talking about how NXT is going to be making some changes here going into the new deal. And then you have others coming up. NWA obviously making moves on the CW app, which could parlay into them also being on something CW or adjacent. I know they're doing a lot of moves over there. God, WoW is still out there. Our friend Ray Lynn's still involved in that. They're still doing tapings, and that seems to be going well. I know that's a syndicated product, I believe. Like I think it filled in where a lot of Ring of Honor was. I think that's what it's doing locally, at least here in the Pittsburgh area.
MLW's still doing things,
MLW is still doing it. I know they were in a thing with WWE that their TV deals got squashed by WWE, and I think there's still a suit pending maybe for that. But they're obviously definitely building their stuff. New Japan, think, well, they say they have the deal with Access, but you know, I could see them wanting to push further into the American market again, looking for something maybe more than Access, right? There's a lot at play here, and then Freddie Prinze Jr. wants to start a promotion, and you know, I don't know, you know, there's a lot of room, and I think like and internationally, obviously, WWE is going fully on Netflix, so that creates a little bit of a vacuum too. A lot of these guys can get a TV foothold somewhere internationally, which could help their bottom lines too. So, anyways, we could talk forever, but I want to get to the main event of this show with our guest here. But in the meantime, one moment for that. Let's give a shout out to internally IndyWrestling.us. We're broadcasting on there right now, actually, along with our Twitch and our YouTube and our Facebook channels and Instagram. I think we're on Instagram tonight, too. I think I hit the button for that. LinkedIn. I think I'm on my LinkedIn profile, wherever you want to watch this show. But
Are
also,
we on Plurk yet?
Well, it's just funny because we were on Plurk earlier on the other show, on our podcast. But a lot of stuff going on there. This week, we'll be releasing the No Ring, No Roll show that had Effie as a part of that here in Pittsburgh. I was going to edit yesterday, and then I forgot the hard drive while I went on my trip. So, but I'm still hoping for a Wednesday release. Also, RWA is coming up this Saturday. A crazy show that maybe we'll talk about later in the show. That's going on there. I think Crazy Steve is back for this one. A classic member of the RWA roster, and of course, you know, doing some great things
Crazy
over at
Steve
TNA
versus
Wrestling.
friend of the show.
Crazy Steve versus
Gianni
Gianni Michael Enrico. Whew. Who is under 2 years in the business, by the way, and he's going to get some Crazy Steve. He had Rhino a couple months ago.
Rhino
too.
in Canada.
In Canada, jeez. We got to do the Italian thing for him, right, Rizz? There you go. There you go. That's for Gianni. There you go. And so much more. The last couple of VCW shows have been up there. Neo Pro has some new stuff coming in. Neo Pro Wrestling, new to the network, so welcome them on there. Check out the first Big League Wrestling show on IndyWrestling.us on VOD, and so much more. Top Rope Tabletop just had another session. Pro wrestlers playing Dungeons and Dragons, and then we're talking about some interesting new content that might be coming up here in the next couple of months. So check out IndyWrestling.us for so many of your favorites in indie wrestling, including Beastman, who's in Japan, and we'll talk about that a little later in the show too. All right, the technical assassin, Brandon Lee. Brandon, I gotta bring up this promo before we get much into things, because you're set up this Saturday at Exodus. I believe you're in this 10-man tag. I can't even tell you who all's in this thing because there's so many people in this thing. Was it Carson Drake? I believe is his name.
Yeah, Team Carson.
Yes, he was recruiting you, and I think he had a misunderstanding of what a technical assassin is because he kept making this kind of motion during the promo here. I don't know what. What is your relationship with Carson Drake? First of all, what kind of guy is Carson Drake for those that haven't seen him in action?
Oh, here's a character. You wouldn't want to spend more than 20 minutes with that man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. I can see that. Okay. Anyways, so I want to talk a little bit about you. First of all, like, obviously you came up over in the UK. Tell us, how long you been in wrestling, and how the hell did you get to America?
So I've been doing wrestling now around about 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, I just saw a flyer for a school one day and I thought, I'm going to sign up to that and just see what happens. And I trained relentlessly in England for about 2.5 years till about, 3 months ago now.
Mm-hmm.
And I met a lovely man called EC3 at a seminar at my school. And I ended up driving him to the airport, and somehow along the way he convinced me to come over to Cleveland to train with him for a period of time and get some American reps under my belt.
That's awesome. So were you? How much did you know about EC3 before this? Did you know about his work on Impact or WWE?
So funny thing about that is TNA was quite big on TV because it was on Freeview TV in England, so you didn't have to like pay for it at all. You didn't have to get any sports channels. It was just it was free on like a 10 o'clock on a Thursday night, obviously pre-recorded for England.
Mm-hmm.
And I was watching like weekly when he was on top. And I usually very much like the heels, the villains, because I related to them, but he was just a dick.
I remember we were doing a recap show, and the one guy that's not on the show as much anymore, like he like abhorred so much of TNA wrestling at the time, but then like EC3 came in, and that was like the bright spot. You know, he'd come on the show. He'd come on the show and just go trouble.
Trouble.
Yeah, somebody did that to me last night actually, and it brought it back. So
was it EC3?
How much did you? Yeah, no, it was not EC3. Some people that work with Nexus though. But so like, did you know anything about Cleveland going into this?
So for the people that I said I was going to be going to Cleveland for an extended period of time, they went, "Why on earth are you going to Cleveland?"
that is the appropriate response. I mean, we're a little biased because we're from Pittsburgh here, but
yeah, of course. The only fact I know about here is it was the first city with light.
What?
Apparently, that's the true fact.
Really?
Yeah, with like electricity, like lights.
Oh.
Fact check me.
Okay, so you did your research going into it. Awesome. So what was
I watched one YouTube video.
You watched Oh, I love what the video you found was like the Cleveland Sucks video from about 20 years ago, and it talks about all the like human suffering they have in the Cleveland Browns.
First public demonstration of outdoor electrical lighting in the U.S. was in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit.
Told you.
So we got to see here, obviously in RWA, I actually got right here. You had a match with J-Rock with RWA. So, I mean, what was, is this kind of your excursion, if you will, coming over here?
Yeah, I would say so. I've done not everything in England, obviously, but quite a fair amount. And my coach at home, Joel Redman, who was Oliver Gray in NXT, the first ever NXT tag champ. Basically, I've never mentioned to him about going to America, or like I mentioned about going to Japan and stuff because I really want to do that because I love their culture. And he introduced me to EC3, and the first time I met EC3, I shook his hand, and my head coach Joel turned around and went, "Oh, Brandon really wants to go to America and work out there." And in that moment, I went, "Yeah, I do." Never spoke to him about it before. Just got coaxed into it, pretty much.
That's awesome. So how's the training been helping you out here? Is it again not knowing terribly much about the British style? What I think most know, like guys like Gunther and everything coming over here. Will Ospreay obviously are representatives that most in the mainstream know about this. Like, what's the biggest differences? I'd say between training and the style, I guess.
We what I've found definitely as at my home school, ASW South in Salisbury, Joel's our head trainer, and he is very, very big on conditioning. Now, we do conditioning at Exodus, but it's next level conditioning that we do at home, because he believes like we should not be dying in the ring, shouldn't be blowing up. We should always be ready to go 100% at any point. So I feel like conditioning's lacked a little bit here, but we very much struggle with promos and the character aspect, as you can probably tell by watching most British wrestlers. And that's the main reason why I decided to come over here, to get help with that. Okay.
What's the biggest thing you've learned from EC3 as far as that character work?
Just to I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it. Don't do not necessarily what you want to do what's best for the way you look and the way you wrestle. So like what you want to do sometimes isn't the best thing to do. Like, say if I wanted to be this pretty boy, clean shaven guy, that wouldn't work for me because I have tattoos, I have long hair, I'm grungy looking. You need to like go with what already fits and the style of wrestling. So I wrestle quite intensely and with intent in everything I do. So if I was to like try and do something like that, it wouldn't make sense. If that makes sense. questions.
No. That's appropriate. And I could tell you, like, I think I happened to be in attendance. No, I was watching live, helping out with the feed, when we saw you come in. I think it was the Lance Archer show here with RWA, and it was definitely like that first impression when you come through the curtain, and it definitely stuck out. I was like, oh, okay, this guy looks interesting. And the announcers tell me you're from, that you're international and everything like that. Obviously you're kind of in the system with Exodus Pro. I can say, and I've said this on the show a few times, I've been very impressed with when we go to Exodus versus some other promotions, like it feels like we're doing TV, right? Obviously, we're not making something, that's currently going on like television, but like when we do in the production meetings, when we're doing the scripting, the way the segments go, the way the matches go, they feel like they have a little more structure than I see in most other companies. Maybe you notice that, although RWA is very good with their storytelling too,
yes, 100%.
But obviously not for TV in that same vein. With all respect, but what was your kind of takeaways there from seeing how that goes? Like, there's a lot of interesting development. You got EC3 there. You got Aaron Stevens, most known as Damian Sandow. You got a lot of really good brains there.
Yeah, I love it personally, just because I'm a big fan of structure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like, just do what you want, guys. Like, if I get told that on a show, I'm gonna like kind of do everything and make myself look as best as possible, but where we get given directions on everything and times to stick to, just stuff like that, I really like, because it makes a show run a lot smoother and a lot better, if that makes sense. And basically EC3 is just a crazy genius. He's insane, but in a good way.
Are there things you're going to take back with you to the others back home? Like any big takeaways there?
There's nothing that I could put my finger on now, because I'm still in amongst it.
Yeah.
But I'm sure, like, once I get home, I'll be able to feel the differences to how it was here compared to back home, and I'll go, this is what I picked up here, and be able to help other people with that.
Mm-hmm. So tell me about the audiences. I think we were talking about a little bit before the show, like, obviously we were like, oh, hey, what UK wrestling would know? And I'm like, well, NXT UK was a big thing for us because we watched those first few shows. There were these fun halls, we see the international shows, the way that the fans cheer and sing and all this kind of stuff. You've done a Cleveland area show, to my awareness, and you've done ones here south of Pittsburgh, which I think we refer to as Pennsyltucky sometimes. Definitely not the city, and we talk about the West Newton crowd a lot on this show. How does that obviously I think those are two crowds, they're different from each other, but how do those feel versus what you experience as a crowd in the UK?
I think the crowds in the UK, depending on what type of show it is, can be very lively, but I haven't experienced so much as like feeling a culture shift with like my work. If I watch the match before, I can tell what the crowd want to see, what they're reacting to, and just do those things. I just work for the crowd, because that's predominantly what we're told to do in England. We do a lot of thing called camp shows. So like people go on holidays, they've never really seen wrestling before, and they'll go watch it as entertainment in the evening, and our job is to entertain them via wrestling, and they've never seen it before.
Interesting. So these just like drop into like kind of holiday spaces or...
So camp, we call them camp shows in England. So basically they're just little holiday camps where families will go for a cheap holiday. They live in a caravan, and on site there's like an amusement park, there's entertainment in the evenings, there's an arcade, a swimming pool. It's just a nice cheap thing, and there's entertainment every night. Like there's bingo, there's a singer, and then with the wrestling.
Interesting. I'm looking this up now.
It almost sounds like something that maybe existed more in the past in the U.S., where like a campgrounds, but organized. So I know, like around the U.S., KOA is a big campground where people, let's say you have the big campers can go there if you have tents, and then I could see them organizing, oh, by the way, tonight we're having a show for you. And it's like, oh, tonight's show is a singer. Tonight's show is a magician. Tonight's show is wrestling. And you're like, oh, okay, it's a show. I will go here and watch the show without being a fan of the product per se. So yeah, I can see for that you don't have the built-in story, or people know who you are per se, other than you're the entertainment.
Yeah, you just have to try and get them invested as much as you can and make them care about what you're doing within like that 10 to 15-minute match. And it's sometimes not easy. Sometimes you just can't do it. They don't want to cooperate. But that's how you learn how to work a crowd and learn your craft, really.
You make them care. It kind of reminds me, different vein, of course, and I think maybe we'll talk about when she's on. But I know Facade and Danny Moog do there's something called Electric Forest, which like everything is neon, and I think there might be psychedelics involved, and they just like you're walking around and just come on to wrestling. Again, not wrestling fans, just people at this EDM concert experience thing, and then just wrestling is happening. So although I'm really curious, that audience may be very receptive to begin with on those substances. So but we'll get into that here when they're on here shortly. But no, that's awesome. So I guess my understanding is you're going back here in a couple of weeks here to visit the homeland.
Yeah, unfortunately, I do have to go back on August 1st, but because I'm absolutely loving it out here. I do enjoy being here, which I thought I wouldn't as much as I am. No disrespect to anyone here. I'm very much a home person, but I'm loving it here and I would love to stay. But luckily in August, I'm going to be doing a lot of shows. I've got about 25 bookings in August.
Nice.
When I get home. And then in September, I'm going to be doing World of Sport because we're rebooting that back up.
Nice.
Oh, shit.
Wow. Wait,
20... But I'm busy.
I don't want to gloss over that because I feel like you said that like it's a Tuesday, but you're doing 25 wrestling shows in a 31-day month.
Yes. Some
people don't do 25 wrestling shows in a year here in America on the Indies, by the way. So like that's incredible. So can you tell us more about this World of Sport? Is it or is it still under wraps in the works?
So it's not completely under wraps. I'm not sure how much I can say currently.
Okay.
But basically, I'm just going to play this safe and say if you want to look up anything, go to www.woswrestling.co.uk. Obviously, you guys have heard of World of Sport before because you're fans and watch the old British stuff.
Not as much as I should, but yes.
No, but it's quite a big deal for us at home.
Sure.
And I'm very honored to be a part of the reboot of it.
That's awesome. That's great. Of course, one of your last bookings here, I presume, is going to be this weekend in Exodus Pro, NWA Exodus Pro. Sorry, full name. Somebody's going to check me on that. So big shows happening this Saturday at the Tree Lawn for Exodus's New Religion. And I've just been loving the music they have attached to it every time it comes up in my feed. So, again, tell us, you're part of a big 10-man tag. Why should people be coming to the show?
Well, it's currently the best NWA territory in the country, and that's just hands down. There's no one else that can compete with the amount of talent we have, the amount of people that have been signed from our territory, and just the standard of show that we put on with the talent we have. Everyone always leaves happy and entertained. So I don't see why they shouldn't come. Even if they're not a fan of wrestling, there's a bar and food. So you're going to have a good time regardless.
That's that camp show mentality right there, isn't it? You should come anyways. And I don't even know. You have a heck of a team. Look at the Slime Balls. If you haven't checked these guys out, they were hanging out in the corner drinking was presumably piss water. PP Punch. We were calling it all night. Sam Beal, one of our favorites from this show, part of it. EC3 is in this, and a whole cast of characters for sure.
Oh yeah.
Team EC3 versus Team Carson Drake. Definitely, you can go check that out. Follow their social media. Just, I know there's only like kind of clips from the matches and stuff so far, but man, some of these promos are tremendous. There's a lot of great stuff going on there, a lot of great talent that you haven't seen. And like I said, a lot of these people are popping up in the NWA on Power, which I know you can see on the CW app. I know that's not on every platform, but definitely worth checking out there. So I know we were big fans of Power when they first started coming on YouTube, and they're still doing some pretty cool things. I know a friend of the show, Pretty Boy Smooth, has been coming around. I know we've seen him here at 880 with the Exodus Championship. Exodus Midwest Championship. I think I got that phrase right. I know he's going to be in Big League Wrestling here in September defending that. I think tomorrow night he's going to announce his opponent for that. Do you see, if you make a return here to the Cleveland area, taking on a Pretty Boy Smooth for that title? You worried about him?
Oh, I'd love to, but he is the man. He's an animal.
Yes.
He's an absolute animal. He's a beast.
Yes.
So I'd give it a good go, but I can't promise anything.
I'd love to see it. Well, I'm hoping you come back. Looking forward. You've been a great addition to both the Exodus and the RWA shows that we've been filming here over the last couple of months, and definitely looking forward. I know you got to go. You got a hot date. You gotta keep the girlfriend happy.
I do indeed.
Did you ever find out what movie you were seeing?
What movie are we seeing?
That's the big question of the week.
Smart man. Ask the date. Ask the date.
She's got her headphones on.
She's got her headphones on. Message us. No. Please message me when you find out. I really want to break that news of what you guys are saying. Fly Me to the Moon was a great date movie, by the way, this weekend. I'm just going to put that out there if that's an option. So, anyways, thank you so much. The technical assassin, Brandon Lee. Where can we find you online?
So I predominantly use Instagram because I'm not much of a Facebook guy. So it's at Brandon Lee PW on Instagram.
There you go. And is there, when you go back, other than obviously that big one we were talking about, is there anything we can see you on that's online that we can catch here in the States?
Unfortunately not. It would just be Wild of Sport Wrestling on the 14th of September.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll be looking out for that. Everybody set a Google alert for that coming up. And thank you so much. You've been a pleasure. And hey, see you Saturday at the show.
Well, thank you for having me. I'll see you Saturday. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you so much. We're going to talk about some more international news, because what the hell has Beastman been doing in Japan? We're going to find out and try to catch up, and the whirlwind of info from there right after this.
Approaching the ring, the challenger, TT!
Newly created RWA Women's Championship. Again, this for free.
Whoa!
Oh, rolls her up! It's on the line tonight. I kind of don't blame her. And now TT, wow! 1, 2, starting things off a little bit.
He's got a 2,000-day title range. He's got a
TT. I mean, Tony, you 1,000 days.
2,142.
Oh God. OVW and wow. The surfing bird, as she likes to call this, and there she goes. She comes, big shoulder block.
Reversal.
I'm just letting the ref handle it. Oh, she stacked her!
What?
She has captured the RWA Women's Championship, the competing sunset flip.
Whoa.
Jessie Bell is furious. TT has done it. TT now has the gold. Your new RWA Women's Champion.
are back, Wrestling Mayhem Show. Thank you so much, the technical assassin Brandon Lee, for joining us here on the show. Wishing him luck in his. Well, I guess this is his international travel. Is being over here. Listen. We guys keep stop being so geo. What was it? When you think about you're the center of the world.
Geocentric.
Geocentric. Yes.
The center of the
Geo-
world.
Yinzer-centric, yeah.
Don't be geocentric and don't be a geostorm. Somebody out there will get that. I won't watch that movie again. Anyways, I'm going to introduce. Hey guys, it is time for a new segment on the show about the Beast Man. That's right. The caveman kaiju on the island. Beastman is in Japan right now. If you're on video, you saw some amazing images. He is with Big Japan Wrestling. And in case you don't know, that's very deathmatchy. He is about 5 shows in. I've been getting the updates. I've been getting the updates on the Inner Circle from the Beastman, translating the husks, seeing what's going on. He's actually part of a tournament with Big Japan Wrestling right now. And again, like I said, he's been through about 5 matches. Some of them, if you if you're interested, Big Japan Wrestling does have a website. And it does have like a streaming service. And they're putting about 2 matches from each show up right now. And I will tell you, everything is just like a hard cam on the ring, and that's about it. So, you know, it's what it is. It's Japanese wrestling. Hey, if you know DDT Pro from Wrestle Universe, you're familiar with this aspect. Hell, even I don't know if anyone remembers, New Japan World used to have shows that were just hard cams too for the longest time. Some of the smaller shows. So you know, just don't be disappointed when you get to that part of it. But no, it's been really interesting to see what he's been doing. Obviously, the images coming back. He's been part of this Gaijin faction with Madman Pondo and Dr. Redacted, who I think Rizz, you know the background on Dr. Redacted.
Wait, is that Cube?
I think it's the original Dr. Cube, if I'm not mistaken.
No way.
So I've had an experience with him at Circle 6 in Los Angeles last year. So he's a very interesting character in front of and behind the cameras. So very, very curious. So like I said, it's about a 10-match segment. It's going to end. Yes, the Beastman will according to the schedule, be wrestling in Kurgan Hall. The biggest news, he's been in such things as some street fight. I'm translating. The Japanese have been translated. So the street fight death match, a barbed wire board death match, 2 of those actually, and a fluorescent light tube death match, and then another street fight. It looks like he's in a 6-man tag for the show that just came up, presumably this morning for us. So it's really hard because we wake up in the morning and we get the updates and we get a bunch of bloody pictures basically, and it was like, oh, how was your night? So, and his wife has been getting phone calls at 5 a.m. letting her know that he's okay. So, no, he's been taking on a lot of people there. Oh, that's right. The first match he was with, you know, in a 6-man tag with this, and I don't know a lot of the background, but I've been told that these are some pretty big names. He just had a match with I believe this was Yuki Ishikawa, who is I'm understanding is one of the young aces. Dale Patricks, who I think is an American that's over there, if I'm not mistaken, had a pretty big match there. He's been getting a lot of wins and being pretty dominant over there. So it's been pretty good. You know, and it's been really interesting. Sorry, I still have these other promos up here. It's really fascinating to watch because these venues have been, I don't know, maybe it's something like the camp shows that they've been talking about, because there's these outside venues. The first image I saw of Beastman in Japan was him getting thrown down a grassy hill. For instance, that was like a fan cam or something like that. These guys appear to be, this was a fascinating thing, they appear to be streaming them unloading the ring from the truck at one point on their YouTube page. It's been such a fascinating thing to follow, and hearing some of these reports coming from Japan with this kind of stuff.
Like I know, like my knowledge in Japanese pro wrestling has been like opened a little bit with my one friend Keiko turning me on to stuff like Choco Pro, so that really doesn't like surprise me as much that they're doing like a ring setup video for that when there is a wrestling ring which is just a mat in some building somewhere where they just wrestle at. So yeah, I'm like, Japan likes their wrestling.
Japan definitely likes their wrestling. Yeah, and again, seeing the venues have been kind of interesting. This is the last one that I mentioned.
Oh my goodness, it's a Gallagher show.
What?
Look in the front row.
Oh, this is the interesting thing. So, we were noticing when we were watching the outside show. So obviously, this is a light tube match, I believe, that he's involved in here. And
they all have trash bags. For
the front row has trash bags, and whenever like they hit the tubes, you'll see they will actually raise them up. A lot of them are wearing masks, but because it's Japan, that's kind of normal over there. You know, and we watch them like every time a light tube hits. They would there was a hold on, let me see if I can pull this up here, because the one match is on here, because it was a light tube. What's the one where they taped the light tubes to the ropes on a couple sides of the ring? I think it was from the first night here. And every time they hit it, you watch them all lift the plastic up, but there were also wrestlers or young boys, security, whatever you call it, were also like holding their arms up and shielding the front row from this. It was really interesting. I'll see if I can pull up a clip where we do it. So it's cool to see, like, for all this crazy deathmatch versus what we've experienced in, I don't know, Detroit, you know, they're very like weirdly sensible and protective of their audience, I guess you could say. Again, I'll try to find a clip here. You're seeing this, and I did confirm that is their tour bus in the background of this. I think this is the first show on the tour. They're outside somewhere, and yeah, you see like the crowd out there when they hit.
So does Beastman get on the bus? Like, is it like they just drive together on the bus?
With the Beastman? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they do with the Beastman. They might just strap him to the top at this point. So we've been seeing images again. If you saw the front, the video that we had at the front here, you know, he's been wrapping barbed wire around his bone. So like again, like I've been to shows where like somebody will wail on a light tube and it just sprays the entire front of an audience. I'm still trying to find one of these clips here. This looks like this might be one of them.
I think you might have passed it.
Yeah, it was right past it. So say here, he's going to hit that and watch them, see them step in. There are three guys that stepped in with their back to it, right? And then everybody in the front row held plastic. It's like the splash zone with a poncho at SeaWorld.
Yeah, it's a Gallagher
concept.
The Gallagher concept.
Watermelon.
Exactly.
With a sledge-a-mat.
Just with a more dangerous watermelon. So, but it's been great. He's been getting matches with. I understand one of the promoters was really putting him over on some posts over there that we had to translate. So Beastman in Japan is going to be, and again, he is ending in Kurgan Hall, and you better believe he's going to get one of those jackets.
Mm-hmm.
The what was the steakhouse
jacket?
Rivera
Steakhouse
jacket. We talked with Glenn Spector back in April about his jacket when he was at DDT Pro. So it's very, so literally in the chat is somebody that's done a tour of Japan and somebody that understands deathmatch wrestling and the importance of these guys. So it's been really cool to kind of like, oh, that's important because I really should have just brought them on the show to talk about it. So obviously Glenn talked about it a little bit last week when he was on the show, you know, and the importance of this. So I don't know if Beastman's going to become a deathmatch guy. I don't know. He keeps saying this feels natural to him.
I mean, the last few times we've filmed him, he was in West Virginia. He had a couple instances with deathmatch wrestling.
Yeah, between Pondo and Shadow. You know, obviously Pondo, a big part of this promotion.
And Gory. Yeah.
So
still have nightmares of that. So.
Yeah. Poor Rizz had to film all the violence and the cutting and the aluminum cans and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, we'll keep an eye out for them. Again, BJW, watch Big Japan Wrestling. There is an English and a Japanese Twitter account for them. They do have a YouTube page. It doesn't have the most recent stuff on the YouTube, but I imagine eventually some of these bigger matches, they do put free matches on there every once in a while. And as much as they seem to be featuring Beastman in these last couple of days of shows, I think you're going to see a bit of them on their social media and on their YouTube. The pictures have been amazing. I'm going to see if I can pull up a couple of them here real quick so you can see. But especially from that last match, it's been pretty incredible. So, and again, maybe you're not a fan of the deathmatch wrestling. Maybe you closed your eyes a little bit when we showed this on the video version. But it's really cool that he's getting this experience and we get to kind of follow along. Obviously, we're going to see about have him on the show to talk about what's going on, how that experience was. I love that there's all these international traveling friends of the show that get to come back here and talk about this kind of stuff. So anyways, in the meantime, you know what they don't have in Japan? Probably they don't have good pizza made by New York City style Yinzer Made here in Pittsburgh. Our friends at SliceOnBroadway.com. Thank you to them for supporting the show. Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza for the last decade or so, and supporting the show. Thanks you so much to SliceOnBroadway.com. It is time to find out. Chat room, get in there. What did you learn from wrestling this week? I learned wrestling on the Monday is pretty cool. So last night was my second show working with Combat One Wrestling up in the Detroit area. The first show was that one that had it was on a Thursday, and it had Matt Riddle and Alex Shelley and Simon. Well, it was actually Matt Riddle versus Simon Gotch, which was pretty good, and a big rumble. And Chavo Guerrero was there too. This time it was a Monday at a roller rink, and Violent J was on commentary all night. Yes, Violent J of the Insane Clown Posse was there on commentary on our headsets. That place was packed. In the middle of it was a skating rink that had I think they had a zap zone. There were indoor bumper cars in there. They had a mascot that lit up. It was incredible because we're just like, what are we doing going to Detroit on a Monday for a wrestling show, right? We've talked about Detroit wrestling on here, and this promotion is relatively family friendly, right? Obviously, they're in the play zone. I hope they are. There's literally the play crawl area. The one girl, oh God, what was her name? Maggie Lee or something. I know she's one of the Seth Rollins trainees. We're just both I want to climb in that, But it was a blast. Cruel, the Atrocity Cruel did not nearly destroy any of my equipment, but it did throw somebody through a wall. So that happened. Violent J got involved with, and if you know hockey, Darren McCarty of the Red Wings, who's very involved with this promotion. So the end of the show was Detroit wrestlers beating the Canadian team, winning the tag team championships in a hockey town street fight with Darren McCarty of the Red Wings and Violent J celebrating in victory at the end of the night. It was the most Detroit moment I think I've been involved in. And this is my 10th Detroit area show that I've attended or been on production for. So definitely a big shout outs to Combat One. They've been, I don't want to say better than expected, but I mean, compared with my knowledge of Detroit wrestling, they're better than expected and pretty amazing to work with. And they got some pretty cool stuff going on there. Their next show is in California, by the way. So a little leap there. And I think they're coming to the Brighton, Michigan, back to the roller rink back in October with Matt Riddle as a part of both those shows. So they're doing cool stuff. They're bringing some good names in. And it looks like, the discussion I'm having with them, they're trying to kind of elevate the level of what a Detroit area wrestling show is, which is true because most of them I've been to are not family friendly. We've talked about it, right? And I think it's cool that they're doing what they're doing up there. I think they're doing a lot of the things right. So good. Nate and the crew up there, shout outs to them. And I know there's a lot of faces that we know from the Exodus crew too. So makes a lot of sense that everything's kind of tightening up around there. So, Rizz, what did you learn from wrestling this week?
Come back to me, Sorg.
Come back to me. Potter, what did you learn from wrestling this week?
Well, I learned now 2 people I follow. They have a YouTube channel, Haley and Kendra, and
Okay.
they do little skits. Okay.
Okay.
They do little skits, and occasionally they do reactions of thirst traps, and they reacted to Rhea Ripley.
Okay.
Haley and Kendra are wife and wife. And
is this the link that you have in the chat room?
It is the link I have in the chat.
All right,
yes.
let me see if I can pull this up.
And the blonde, Kendra, I don't think she's ever seen Rhea before. And the reactions, especially when Rhea licked her teeth, there was a very positive reaction they had to Rhea.
Okay.
So yeah, it basically, everyone said, "Oh, you have to look at Rhea," and they're not generally, even though it says Rhea Ripley thirst traps, it's just Rhea's videos, like the video of her working out in the gym, which you could consider that a thirst trap, especially that one particular angle.
Yep.
And the reaction was, "Oh, I need to go back to the gym." Yes, not to work out. I just need to go back to the gym. And again, this is when wrestling's big, when it goes and spills over to people who aren't even close or adjacent to wrestling, and they just know the characters.
Like again, kind of what we were talking about. Like the character speaks for itself, right? And that's what's happening here. So, and that's a really good illustration. And just by the way, Mayhem Show account, just subscribe to Haley and Kendra.
Yes.
So,
they're great. They are great. They are great.
Mm-hmm.
They are wonderful. They're hilarious. And yeah, this reaction was just so good.
Tina learned. Speaking of relationships, and Rhea Ripley. Tina Keys learned what I've learned from Jey Uso. A way to entice a woman: scattered, smothered, covered, and capped hash browns with a double waffle. Yeah, obviously, Jey Uso is moving in on Dom's territory with all the turmoil happening there. And in a backstage promo, apparently invited Rhea to Waffle House. Just to, if you need a oos and a shoulder, apparently was the thing. Because apparently Waffle House is the place to be. To the point where we were, like I said, we were kind of discussing this old social media from the late 2000s that apparently still exists called Plurk. And Katie was signing up for it, and we're trying to figure out what to put on her profile here in 2024. And one of it was looking for somebody to take me to Waffle House. So, so we were definitely inspired from that.
Sorg, you do have the Slack. You do have Slack, right?
Yeah, I can pull the Slack up. What's going on?
The
on
doc.
Slack?
I mean,
the doc. Yes.
I found what I learned, and I kind of don't know how I feel about it.
Okay.
Oh.
So
where's the link? Where'd you put the link?
I didn't do it. I didn't post it yet. I might just posted it in the chat here.
Okay.
In the Mayhem, the chat. Those two guys, the father and son, the Costco guy, the Boom guy.
I am not familiar with this now.
So they go to Costco.
But I know everything I need to know by the first 2 seconds of this video, by the way.
Okay, good.
Yes.
So now they have I learned that they don't need to do this. It's fine.
What?
They have a video now of them dubbing over Adam Cole's song.
Oh, that's what's happening with this Boom. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And yeah, we can just. It's
This is a sad. What I learned apparently for you.
I mean, it's the Costco guys.
Okay, I don't know what that means.
You don't know the Costco?
No, I don't know the Costco guys. No, it's not in my algorithm. My algorithm is all. I don't even know what my algorithm is now.
Like,
It's all roller coasters and Disney World and a comedy puppet in Chicago.
They're the Costco guys.
Chad the
They eat
Bird.
giant
I'm
chicken
a
steak
Chad the Bird
or chicken stick or whatever it's
follower.
called. And then the dad
Subway
eats the
Confessions and
the dad eats the double chunk chocolate cookie.
okay.
And then like there's a whole bunch of other stuff, but yeah, I don't know why they're so popular
What
anymore.
you've learned is you're grumbling at social media taking on pro
I'm
wrestling.
old. Okay.
Okay. Oh, yeah, you're old. Okay.
I'm
Are
getting
you?
older.
You're not the one that had Hardcam Frio take my phone and put my Facebook in dark mode like I'm a fucking
Why
grandpa
do you have
this
it in
weekend.
light mode?
I didn't know there was a dark mode. He did this twice to me. Last night. I felt so old when he just took my phone and
so
set a setting.
So he took your phone.
He took my phone.
So he took your phone, turned it to dark mode.
Yes.
Gave your phone back.
Yes.
And then you turned it back to light mode.
I didn't turn it back to light mode.
Then how do you do it twice to you, Sorg?
There was something else that some other settings like, why didn't you do this? And da. Oh no, because he friend requested me and I never answered it. Because I'm terrible with friend requests on Facebook because I will not basically unless I'm like unless I know if I don't recognize. Also, I know him as Hardcam Frio and not first of all. So context is king here, Riz. Anyways, let me double check this. Missy, what'd you learn from wrestling this week? I don't know. It's not recording. Just yell it.
Hi, Missy.
Missy's back from her party.
Party.
What'd you learn from wrestling this week? Yell it. I'll repeat it. It's hot. Oh yeah, we had an outside show again. So because we hate ourselves and the people that book us hate us too.
Well, honestly, I hate to say it.
No.
Given the indoor shows,
I say the indoor shows are much better either.
They're probably not.
Sorg.
It's probably not air conditioned.
Sorg, now that you said that, you know the promoter's gonna ask you if you hate him over and over again.
The promoter already asked me if I hate him, if I'm angry at him. Yes. Well, Missy's perpetually in a state of anger around wrestling shows.
Outside wrestling.
Guys, thank you so much. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff going on. RWA has a show. I think it's Resurrection coming up this Saturday. It'll be streaming on Indie Wrestling Network. Thursday night fights will be Thursday night. Ironically, maybe is that how that works? On free on the Indie Wrestling Network or IndyWrestling.us every streaming channel. And the No Ring Show will be up this week on the network and everything for free too, featuring Effie. You can check out the Marco Narciso's Sizzling Summer Nights already on all those platforms too, as well as the Diamond Beach show from the 4th of July. That was really fun. And still hot and miserable. All things can be true. At least only one of the shows did I get a head injury. And it wasn't the No Ring Show. But anyways, thank you guys so much. Thank you, Brandon Lee, for joining us. Safe travels on the trips. Check out Exodus Pro if you're in the Cleveland area this Saturday at the Tree Lawn. I believe the bell time is 6:05 p.m. If you get it, you get it. Rizz will be playing video games with Dutters tomorrow night.
I will.
On our channels. I think we'll probably put that out on a Wrestling Mayhem Show.
Mm-hmm. And on Thursday,
yes,
I will be doing a nice little project with my friends over at DN Denial.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to post it on my stuff, so go check that out as well.
Top Rope Tabletop on the IndyWrestling.us channels as well from this Friday night. So we'll see how that campaign is going. I think it's almost finished. We're trying to find our date for the next set for it in August, but that's becoming difficult, unfortunately, because of schedules. Dave Potter, iPhoneography podcast.
Yeah, I think it we're going to have one coming out real soon, talking to someone who does amazing long exposure night photography. I know not wrestling related, but it's still, you know what? If you go out in the middle of nowhere to watch a wrestling show at night, because you'll have some, you know, if you're outside of the city and you go out, maybe take some beautiful sky shots.
Or some of these wrestling shows have some terrible lighting in their venues too. So that would also
That is
be
true.
useful.
That is true.
Yeah. So there's that. It'd be like, hey, you know, we're gonna do wrestling. I'm like, is this the lights? Do we want to see the wrestlers? Sometimes. Yeah, it gets weird sometimes. But anyways. Thank you guys so much. Again, stay tuned. We'll probably talk a little bit on Patreon, and we'll see if our buddy's popping in here. That usually does, and see what else gets on. Maybe I'll talk a little bit more about my experience with Combat 1 the other night. Maybe we'll let Missy have a microphone too, so she makes sure we're not here too late and everything. So thank you guys so much. We'll see you guys next time. Next week, I believe we have scheduled Danny Moe will be joining us to talk about her trip with Everest, even though we did get scooped by some guy named Chris Jericho in his podcast. And
I thought you were going to say John. I thought you were going to say John.
No, not some guy named John. Some guy named Jericho.
Yeah.
Some guy named Chris. Everybody hates Chris. And I will have to listen to that now to make sure I don't just have the same conversation. Well, you know we won't. You know we don't have the same conversations every other podcast here. So, and also... I'm trying to remember which name to use. The Violent Gentleman. That's right. Victor Benjamin will be joining us in 2. Yeah. Oh, what's that? What'd I say? The Violent? Violent Gentleman, something else. Savage Gentleman Victor Benjamin will be here to talk about their new gym, Punch King, that opened up in the Pittsburgh area. And who knows what's going to happen in August. I should figure that out soon. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you guys next time. Stay tuned if you're on the Patreon for what's up next. Mayhem out.
Just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Don't give up what you want, take it back. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Do what you
This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com.